Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the 9th episode of our 10-in-1 video series entitled 100 Commonly Misused Words Used in WAEC, NECO, and JAMB Lexis structure. In today's episode, we shall be looking at words number 81 to number 90. And for easy access, as usual, we shall be splitting this episode into two different parts. We shall be considering part 9A and part 9B. And in the first part of this episode, we shall be considering words number 81 to number 85. So that in the second part of this same episode, we shall be considering words number 86 to number 90. And for words number 81 to 85, we have popular / famous, we have aroma / scent, we have site, that's site with C-I-T-E, and then you have site with S, as S-I-T-E, and site as S-I-G-H-T. And then number 84, we shall be looking at assault / insult, and then 85, we'll be looking at thought / thoughts. So these are the words that we shall be considering in part 9A. That's the first part of this episode. And then in the second part of this episode, we shall be considering words like eminent / eminent. Then we shall be considering words like complaint / complaint. And then 88, carrier / career. And then to / also / as well. And then proceed / proceedings. So these are the words that we shall be discussing in this episode 9. Right away, we shall take on the first one, which is word set number 81, which includes popular / famous. And you can start asking yourself questions like, what is it really that makes these words to be conflicting in usage? And that's going to be a great question, because we know that when we're talking about commonly conflicted words, we quickly take our minds to the fact that words might be rhymed, that is, they might be pronounced the same way, and that might be the cause of conflict between the pair. Or maybe they are spelled the same way. But as for these words that we are considering, that is, words like popular and famous, you can easily see that they are not spelled the same way. Neither are they pronounced the same way. So then, where is the conflict coming from? The conflict between these words, as far as I can say, might be because of the popularity of the words in everyday usage. These words are somehow very common in everyday English. And as a result of that, there is this tendency of taking one for another. So that might be the origin of the conflict between their usage. However, we have some points that we want to discuss in this class that will help you to use these words better in spoken English or in written form, and even under the examination condition. If you look at our table very closely, you discover that we have itemized some points about these words. These are the points that you should take a very good note of if you hope to be able to use these words proficiently, if you hope to be able to use these words more perfectly in spoken English or in written form, or to handle them more brilliantly under the examination condition. So the first one we have is popular, while the second one is famous, like we have already established, and we shall be considering these words side by side. Talking about the first one, that is popular, the first point we have there is that this word means well known and liked by many people. So if you are saying that something is popular or that someone is popular, then you are saying two things about that person or that thing. You are saying that the person is well known and liked by many people. Two things, well known and liked. So that's the first conflict with the second word, famous. When you say that someone is famous or that something or someplace is famous, then you are saying one of those two things that we said about popular. You are saying that the person, the place, or the thing is well known, but not liked by many people. So that's the first conflict between the words. Then for the second point that we have in this, our analysis, is that someone can become popular because of good deeds and good deeds only. Take good note of that. On the other hand, if someone becomes famous, it's not only going to be because of good deeds, but someone can become famous either for good deeds or for evil deeds. Someone can be famous for two things. Take note. Whereas someone is going to be popular for just one thing, good deeds only, someone can be famous for two things, both good deeds and evil deeds. Now, when someone is famous for evil deeds, take good note of that. We have another word that we can use to describe that person. We use the word notorious. So when you say that someone is notorious, you are saying that the person is well known for evil deeds. That one does not apply to this first word, popular. Right. Now, for the third point that we want to establish about this pair of words is that a popular person is famous as well. If someone becomes popular, the person will automatically become famous. But for famous, on the other hand, when someone becomes famous, it is not a guarantee that the person is going to become popular. So you can see what is happening with these words. Let me quickly do a recap of what we have just said. Number one, someone is going to be popular because the person is well known and liked by many. But someone will be famous because the person is well known and not liked by many. That's number one difference between the two words. Then the second point to note about them is that someone can only become popular for good deeds. But for the word famous, someone can be famous for both good and evil deeds. So if someone is famous for good deeds, fine, that is expected. But when someone is famous for evil deeds, then another word will come into usage, and that word that will be used to describe that person is notorious. Then the third point we establish is that when someone is popular, the person naturally becomes famous. But for the word famous, when someone is famous, the person will not be popular. In other words, that someone is famous is not a guarantee that the person will be popular. So these are three good contrasting points about these two words, popular/famous. Then the final thing that we want to talk about these words has to do with their prepositional collocator. That is, talking about the type of preposition that can be used with either of these words. When you talk about popular, so many prepositions can be used with it. But the most standard prepositions that go with the word popular include with/among. And take good note of their meanings. If you say that someone is popular with, then you are talking in general terms. But when you say that someone is popular among, then you are talking in specific terms. We are going to explain that further when we get to the usage of the words. Then what about the word famous? So many prepositions can agree with this word as well. However, the most standard preposition that is used with famous is for. So anytime you hear a word like famous, then the next preposition that will likely collocate and for standard reasons will be for. So that is that about the definitions of these words. Then the next thing we want to talk about is the part of speech to which they belong. Take note that both words, popular and famous, are adjectives. They are both adjectives. That is the part of speech to which they belong. Now we move forward to their usage. Now let's talk about the usage of the first words. Number one, we have here, the tourist spot is very popular among the teenagers. Take note of the preposition used with popular here. The tourist spot is very popular among the teenagers. So popular among means a specific class of people, just teenagers. So popular among specific usage. Then let's look at the second example. The tourist spot is very popular with people from all ages. I think that is explanatory and clear enough. When you say popular with, then you are talking in general context. And like the expression goes, people from all ages. So that is how to use popular in expressions and the type of prepositions that go with the word in different contexts. Now let's talk about how to use famous in expressions. We have the famous hotel offers excellent service. Take note of the way famous is used here. Like we said earlier on, famous is an adjective, and of course you know that adjective has two possible positions in an expression. Either it comes before the noun that it is modifying, or it comes after the noun and connected with a linking verb. But in this context, the adjective is coming before the noun, famous hotel. So famous here is being used to modify hotel as an attributive adjective. But let's look at the second one. The hotel is famous for its entertainment. The hotel is famous for its entertainment. Now, the word famous is telling us that the hotel is well known, but not liked by many, just like we said in the course of our definition of the words. Yes, a hotel can be well known and popularly known because of publicity and its appearance in news headlines and the rest of that. But if so many people are not visiting that hotel, then you cannot say that the hotel is popular. The hotel can just remain famous. Right. Let's talk about the way famous is used here. Famous is being used here as a predicative adjective. In a situation where famous is modifying hotel and is being linked to the word that it is modifying by a linking verb is. So if an adjective is coming after the noun that it is modifying and connected to it by a linking verb, then we say that that adjective is being used in the position of a predicative. So that is that about how to use these words in expressions. Let's now take a step further and consider their appearance in past questions. JAMB 2002 Anthony. He is notorious for his drunkenness. A. Popular. B. Unknown. C. Well known. D. Renowned. Now, as a problem under antonyms, we are expected to look for a word that is opposite in meaning to the underlined word. And the word that is underlined here is notorious. Right. The options before us, popular, unknown, well-known, and renowned. The correct words among them that can stand as an antonym of notorious is renowned. If you look at the other options, you discover that we have unknown in option B. And that option might be very tempting as far as this question is concerned. Because if you say that someone is notorious, that means the person is well known for evil deeds. Now, if you're going to take the opposite as unknown, then it is going to take the expression out of context. Because there is no way it's going to be that the person is not known any longer. But you are going to look for an option here that will still talk about the fact that the person is known for the wrongdoing, in quotes, that is, if drunkenness is wrong deeds, as far as this context is concerned, then you're going to look for an option that will still say that the person is known and liked. So the opposite word that you're going to consider for notorious should still leave the question in the context of saying that the person is known for a wrongdoing, but not liked. All right, okay, that is what the question is saying, that the person is known for a wrongdoing and not liked for it. So the option here that is saying that the person is known for a wrongdoing and liked for it is renowned. So that is why option D is the correct answer. So that is that about how to use these words in expressions. We'll now take a step further by considering the next word on our list, which is aroma/scent.